Hello and welcome back to Poemcraft. This is guidance session 2. Today we're looking at the poetic form of the haiku and our skills focus is rhythm. Technically, in literature, rhythm is called meter, but we're just going to stick with the word rhythm because it's probably the one you're more familiar with. Rhythm is created through syllables. Syllables are just the sounds that different words make. So why is rhythm so important to poetry? Well, every time we speak, our words create rhythm. Some words are short, some words are long, some words are fast, some words are slow. Haikus help us focus on that natural rhythm by asking us to think carefully about the number of syllables in the words we choose. And rather than restricting us, it actually helps us notice and choose language more carefully. Okay, so it's time to grab your booklet and we'll go through one way of completing the tasks together. Pause the video whenever you need to, because the most important thing to remember is to enjoy the rhythm that different words create so that you can choose the right rhythm for you. Today we're going to be looking at the haiku, that's the poetic form, and our poetic skill focus is rhythm and meter. As before, you get a little background about the poetic form that we're looking at today, the haiku, and its origins in Japan. Specifically, though, we're looking at syllables that create rhythm in English poetry. And because the haiku uses specifically 17 syllables, so we have to know what a syllable is. And a syllable is the sound that makes a word. Now, some words have only one syllable, some have two, some have three, and so on. So here we've got some examples. So for example, cheese. Cheese has only one syllable, cheese. Mobile has two syllables, mo and bile. So when we say it, mobile. An elephant has three. Now, the way I say it is elephant. Elephant. Some people say elef-ant, but it doesn't really matter. It still has three anyway. Elephant. Knowing how many syllables make up a word helps us construct a haiku, and it's what gives the haiku rhythm. I'll explain more when we see our examples. How can you spot a haiku? Well, this is a very structured poem. Very short, but very structured. So it's very, very important that we read through those indicators of what haiku is. It has 3 lines. The first line has 5 syllables. The second line has 7 syllables. And the last line, the third line, has 5 syllables. There's always a connection with nature. And usually there's a comparison with the human experience or the human condition. So a wider message. Okay, we're moving on to our 3 examples here. Now, one is an original. Now, let's see if we can spot some of those rules that we saw on the first page here. Do they follow the rules? So let's read through the 3 together. Everything I touch with tenderness, alas, pricks me like a bramble. Now, this one's translated from a Japanese haiku, so the syllables may not be entirely accurate, but we'll have a look at those in a minute. So, the second one is, the storm waves break, crash on the shore beneath my feet, like joy in my heart. And the last one here is a modern Japanese poem, my husband gone, from the bluest of skies, spring snow falls. Now, let's see if we can spot the haiku rules or patterns in the 3 examples of haikus we have on the left-hand side. Do they have 3 lines? Well, we can see that each one of those has 3 lines, so we can tick that off immediately. Do they use the 5-7-5 syllable count? So everything, let's count it out, everything is 3 syllables. I is 1 and touch is 1, so we can see that that is definitely 5 syllables. Now let's look at that. With is 1, tenderness is 3, alas is actually 2, alas is 2 syllables. So in fact here we have a 6-syllable line. Pricks, 1, pricks me like a bramble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as we can see, we can't tick that because even in our first one, it doesn't quite conform to the syllable count. Now that doesn't mean that that poem isn't a haiku, because in the original Japanese, it actually does conform to the syllable count. It's only in the translation that it doesn't. So let's look at one of the the second one. The storm waves break, crash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clearly. On the shore beneath my feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lovely. Like joy in my heart. And again 5. So our second one gets all of them ticked. So we can say that that's partially right. I'm going to rub out that cross, and I'm going to put a wavy line because that's how I want to put, or I might put half. Remember, this isn't going to look perfect by the end. You're going to make mistakes. Do they refer to nature? Right, we've got brambles in the first one. We've got storm waves in the second one, and let's see if there's nature. Well, it's got blue skies and it's got spring snow. So yes, we can say all three refer to nature. Do they mention an emotion or emotional event? Let's look at the first one. Everything I touch with tenderness. So that's emotional, isn't it? So that one definitely has. The storm waves crash on the shore beneath my feet like joy in my heart. Well, obviously that's joyful, is an emotion. And lastly, my husband gone. Well, here we have grief. I always assumed this one is to do with death, my husband gone. But that might be what I'm reading into it. It could be that the husband's gone away and isn't coming back. I've read into that a death. But still, it's an emotional event, so we can tick that one off. Do they contain a contrast? Well, we have a death or a loss of some kind contrasted with, well, we've got a blue sky and snow. Now there is the contrast, isn't it? And also we've got a blue sky contrasting with loss and death. Some types of literature, usually death and loss, perhaps linked to something darker or more wintry, but here we have blue skies. So again, we've got two contrasts in that one. Tenderness and thorn of a bramble, waves and joy. So they all contain a contrast, so we can tick that one off. So when you go on to look at other haikus, or when you go on to write some more of your own, this is just some extra information about how to spot them. It's the different types of haiku that you might come across, and it gives you a little bit more information. Now we get the opportunity of looking at this one together. So again, as before, this haiku is by the Bookfordshire company and by you, so you get to add your name. Now let's create some haikus. We'll focus on the syllables because rhythm is important in all poetry. We'll also include the contrast that's central to the haiku poem. So we're looking at syllables, but we're also looking at contrast. You'll notice that I've given you a scaffold and you get to complete the haiku. This can start you off as a warm-up, and then you can go on to create your own on a separate piece of paper. I'd love you to share those independently created haikus with me. That would be lovely. But if you just want some support, then feel free to use the scaffold. And here are some ideas that I've used to help you contrast with the key theme of the poem. So we'll look at the first one together, and I'll leave the other two for you to complete independently. Haiku 1. Blue icicles drip and the day is drawing in, but your love. Now icicles are cold, the day is drawing in, it's night, it's dark, and we want a contrast. So but your love is, now we could say warm, we could say toasty, we could say all of those, but we've got to be careful of the syllable count. So blue icicles drip, now that's 5 syllables, and the day is drawing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. But your love, we've got 3 now. We've got 2 syllables to play with here. So if we said warm, now that would be okay, but it would only be 4 syllables, and ideally we want 5. So we're going to cross that out, and we're going to say, but your love. Now we could come down to some examples of contrasting with cold and night. Burns bright, that's lovely, but your love burns bright. Okay, because it contrasts with the dark, and it contrasts with the coldness, the wateriness of the icicles. So burns bright would be nice. Burns bright, and that's 17 syllables. So I'd like you to complete the other 2 scaffolded haikus by yourself. I'd love you to share them with me if you'd like in the comments of the YouTube video. And of course, it would be lovely if you could use those as a stimulus to continue to either read, write, or analyse other haikus. And when you finish the booklet, You can share your experiences in the comments and you can come back for a final message. Hopefully, step 2 has shown you that rhythm doesn't just belong in song, that it's part of everyday language too. I hope you've enjoyed hearing how haikus enhance the rhythm of words and hearing your own words take shape. I look forward to seeing you again for step 3 of Poemcraft.